What up, though, and welcome to Lions Nation Unite. I am Easy. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Be a friend, tell a friend, and share this video. Today, we're breaking down the Detroit Lions joint practice against the Houston Texans. And they were going back and forth at it. It was a phenomenal practice to go to. I love the joint practices. I love training camp practice. Training camp practice. Let's jump right to joint practice, all right? Joint practice, you get to see the starters against other competition. In training camp practice, yeah, you can have some takeaways, but you got to be mindful of just like how used the players are to each other. You know, like Amon Ra knows where Terrion's lacking. Terrion knows where Amon Ra is lacking. So there may be certain opportunities that present themselves that they take advantage of, and then they win the rep, right? And that happens while you're in the course of training camp, and of course of just playing for the same team year after year after year after year. Well, that's why I love joint practice, because like, okay, I've been watching the Detroit Lions defense dominate this offense, but also you could argue Calvin Shepard is more familiar with the Detroit Lions offense, having been the linebacker coach for the last 4 years, than Johnny Morton is with the offense, just now coming in. And yeah, he was here for the 1 year, but again, Calvin Shepard has seen this thing 4 years in action and in the making as well. So, like, you could argue a lot of the reports, as we read, that the Detroit Lions defense has been dominant, but you could argue, as Amon Ra has stated too, like, well, they may just know what's going on a little bit more. They know how to stop this offense because they've gone against it every single day for the last, 3 to 4 years. You know what I'm saying? 4.5 years, however you want to label it, because Ben took over a little halfway through. When you get a joint practice, that's when you're afforded, like, okay, expect the unexpected. Let's see what we really got here. Right, we're not. It's especially too, like, this isn't like a game situation where you're studying tape heading into the scenario. No, like we're going. And we're seeing who's who at the end of things. And today, the Detroit Lions were the who's who. The Detroit Lions came out on top. The Vikings, I'm not the Vikings. The Houston Texans put up one hell of a fight. Will Anderson, I've been betting money right now on Aiden Hutchinson to win Defensive Player of the Year. If there's another candidate out there, it might be Will Anderson. I mean, specifically, to begin the red zone reps, he was going against Penei Sewell, and he beat Penei Sewell, and he smacked the ball out of Jared Goff's hand, like causing a fumble. It's just like, I'm not touching the quarterback. I'm just smacking the ball out of his hand. I'm fine. And then following that, he made a play in the run. He was also in the backfield just causing troubles. Jared Goff had to dirt the ball. That was to begin the red zone session. All Will Anderson to begin. Followed that up with back-to-back touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs. And David Montgomery touchdown too. So the Detroit Lions got theirs too. The offensive line looked good. And even if I were to look at this today's joint practice and be like, man, I don't really like how that offensive line looked against the Texans today. Like, keep in mind the Texans probably have, I'd say, a top 3, top 5 defensive line in the National Football League. I mean, you're talking something that collectively hosts Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson on the defensive line. It's quite possible they have, top 5 defensive line in the National Football League, if not maybe top 3. So, like, I expected a little bit of problems. And I even rewinded back to last year when we had the best offensive line in the National Football League, I'd argue, with Frank Ragnow, with Kevin Zeitler. Those guys gave us problems. I mean, go look at Danielle Hunter's entrance in the top 100. And one of the highlights is against All-Pro Penei Sewell. Like, they're a good defense. So that's why today's joint practice was such a treat. Getting to watch Will Anderson, getting to watch our rookie Tate Ratledge out there. I would say in the run game, our guys are pretty solid. In the passing game, listen, if you're going against elite pass rushers, like, they're going to get after it sometimes. They also have elite corners. I like Derek Stingley a lot. I think he arguably pass retain number 1, Derek Stingley number 2 for me. Derek Stingley is the second best cornerback of the National Football League. He was all over Amon-Ra St. Brown. And this is following the week Amon-Ra St. Brown put Jack Jones in a clinic. I mean, I held a procession for Jack Jones following that game. That practice. It was that bad. Today, not a lot of Amon-Ra unless he was away from Derek Stingley. I don't know that Stingley let up any reception to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He did let up a 36-yard bomb to Jamison Williams. It was him, and then I think it was Kalen Bullock back there too on that one, where it's just like Derek Stingley could be really, really good, very, very talented, and that's why he kind of was just all over. I mean, the way to describe it, at one point with Derek Stingley, I'm talking about, it felt like Amon-Ra was a defensive back because he had to jump back into a play and swat a ball down from Derek Stingley intercepting Jared Goff. It was almost like this is gonna sound weird, but this is where my head went. Like like an octopus. Like this guy has tentacles. He was just everywhere. I mean, Derek Stingley Jr. is a very good football player. Amon-Ra St. Brown did get a little short here and there's. Again, mainly when Derek Stingley wasn't in coverage. Following that, though, I would have to move on to Jameson Williams. Like I said, burning those guys. I guess there were some reports that Jameson Williams stepped out of bounds. It didn't look that way to me. I thought Jameson Williams was in, and I think he had enough room to where it wasn't even like up for debate. But Jameson Williams, big touchdown there. Jared Goff did throw an interception to Bullock. That one was a red zone rep. But again, some of that stuff's going to happen because that was immediately after a David Montgomery touchdown. So you got to take the good with the bad. The Texans aren't a bad team. On the defensive side of the ball, I would recommend making sure you check out the Athletic article from Colton Pouncey because he had some comments to say about Nico Collins, which Terran Arnold had a breakup on. But here are my takeaways from defense from what I was able to see. Because obviously where I'm at, I think I told you guys this last week too. Like I can see the offense right in front of me. There's a second field where you have the defense and everything like that. But yeah, Terran Arnold doing Terran Arnold things. These Terran Arnold things, 2025 Terran Arnold things. He's making some plays on Nico Collins. DJ Reed had a really nice practice too. It felt like the only things they were able to complete on that side of the field were just the short little chippy crossers. And every time I got a glance, it looked like C.J. Stroud was running for his life. You could argue maybe the Rook got out there too. Tyler Williams getting a sack on C.J. Stroud. I saw an interception from Meek Robertson. DJ Reed doing his thing. Again, the only kind of stuff they're getting were, I don't know who number 33 is on their team. He did well. Nick Chubb. I mean, he's just so noticeable. He's a big dude playing the running back position. But yeah, Detroit Lions defense kind of dominant in that one. Shout out to Aiden Hutchinson. Shout out to Davenport. They were doing their things out there. I did see to close out practice. I did a final minute where it's 20-23. Offense, first team offense versus first team defense. Detroit Lions got down like the 13th, ended up kicking a field goal for 3 points. The Texans did not get that far, but they still made a field goal. I think they got stopped around the 24-30. In the same situation, CJ Stroud absolutely just running for his life, getting these short little chippy stuff. So a lot of the gains that he had today was just him scrambling. And there's two ways you can look at that situation, right, too, is like, obviously, Detroit Lions have a damn good defensive line. But if you've been paying attention to the NFL, or at least specifically the Texans, Houston Texans fans, I'm sure you guys could explain in the comment section, your offensive line situation is not great. Like, I love Brad Holmes and the fact that he moved up to grab our new offensive guard, maybe our future offensive center for the future, and Tate Ratledge. Kudos to him. That's probably where the Houston Texans should have went because their offensive line, especially without Laramie Tunsil. I mean, with Laramie Tunsil last year, it was abysmal. Without him, it's arguably worse. I felt bad for CJ Stroud out there. And CJ Stroud, just this guy can't get away from Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, he's see him as nightmares at this point. Aiden Hutchinson was all over him as well. New Collins had a great rep on Terran Arnold. Listen, they scored. They got in there. But you can even look at the Texans side of things. Go look at some of the Houston Texans reporters. Detroit Lions defense dominated. And that's the kind of thing I open up this video with is like, okay, you get to see our defense dominate, but how much is it the familiarity with what they're going up against in the offense? Well, now it's two different teams now coming into Allen Park for joint practices, and it's the Detroit Lions defense that's won the day. I would say it's probably the winner of the day is the Detroit Lions defense. Now, mind you, too, I wasn't there full time, so I would go head over to Colton Pouncey's article with The Athletic, check that out. He had a couple comments to say specifically about Nico Collins, but I was very proud of what I got to see today on my Detroit Lions. Today was a big test. I knew the Miami Dolphins were kind of finicky, kind of fluky going into that one. All due respect to them, obviously, that is a national football franchise, and they got some good players there. But the Texans are a better team. I think a bigger challenge. And I think the bigger question mark for the Detroit Lions has been the offense. So it's like, okay, well, the Texans got a fairly decent defense. Like, what can we muster up against this? And they did a damn thing. I think the most impressive plays offensively were back-to-back. I'm not kidding you guys. Back-to-back touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs, dusting these guys. Got him around the corner. He was gone on, I want to say one of the linebackers. I can't recall which number it was. Maybe OC, I think was the name. The other kid was Derek Stingley Jr. I'm old enough to call these guys kids. That's ridiculous. And then the very next play, that was on the right side of the field. The very next play, he did the same thing on the left side of the field. Now, you could argue he got stopped at the 1 yard line, but what happened is he got in for a touchdown. Because obviously, I don't know if they were looking to do full tackles in that drill. But those are my biggest takeaways from camp. Meek Robinson looked very, very good. Terry Owens continuing to do what he's doing. Aiden Hutchinson continuing to do what he's doing. Jack Campbell had a great PBU and pass coverage along. That's the only thing they get off of those crossers. Jack Campbell said, not this time. So I'll reaffirm it once more, man. I think the Detroit Lions defense, I don't want to say will carry anybody, but there's definitely going to be a strength for the Detroit Lions moving forward. And I think you need that to win a Super Bowl. I just look at the last decade of Super Bowl champions, and it's like the defensive line specifically has been able to get after the quarterback or had bodies to get after the quarterback. And that's, I think, what we have if we can stay healthy, knock on wood. It's exactly that. If you got any guys specifically that I missed that you want to know about that I may have forgotten about, make sure you comment down in the comment section down below. That goes for both Houston Texans fans and Detroit Lions fans. I had a couple of Houston Texans guys tweet me or slide up in my DMs and be like, hey, who's here? Who's there? For the Texans fans, if you are out there, I believe you guys had 79 on the left side and 71 on the right side for your tackle situation. I don't know who those gentlemen are. That's who was there. But I got to get going. I got my 5 to 7 I got to do. Make sure you guys tap in for that one. Until next time, I'm out.